The basement is frequently the most underutilized square footage in an Ottawa home, a cold, dark area often relegated to storing holiday decorations and plastic bins. But that concrete box holds serious potential. With a well-planned renovation, that footprint can become a dedicated home office, a private gym, or a welcoming guest suite, adding highly functional living space without expanding the actual boundaries of your home. The trouble starts when a renovation focuses entirely on aesthetic upgrades while ignoring the baseline conditions of the space. Rushing to put up drywall and paint before addressing the underlying environment leads to expensive problems later. By January, rooms can feel freezing, drywall can develop a musty smell, and new flooring can start lifting. This means the lowest initial quote you receive is rarely the best quote. If a price leaves out the necessary work that happens behind the walls, like insulation, moisture control, and proper electrical, the real costs will inevitably rise later on. Because every basement has its own unique starting conditions, accurate planning requires an in-person look at the space. Alba Home Services offers Ottawa homeowners a free basement inspection and estimate, helping you understand your true baseline before any hammers swing. The era of your house entirely dictates your renovation strategy. The needs of an older urban home differ drastically from those of a newer suburban build. This matrix compares those two profiles. If you own an older central home in neighborhoods like Centertown or Westboro, you are typically dealing with lower ceilings, older plumbing, uneven floors, and historical moisture challenges. For these older properties, a larger percentage of your budget must be directed into foundational infrastructure and creative layout planning to work around existing obstacles. That naturally leaves less room for premium cosmetic finishes. Conversely, if you are looking at a newer suburban basement in an area like Finley Creek, you are generally starting with a dry, open-concept blank canvas. That starting point drastically lowers your initial infrastructure costs. The trade-off for these new builds is spatial planning. While you can reallocate your budget toward high-end custom features like media walls or wet bars, you still have to carefully design the layout to maintain proper access to complex modern mechanical zones. Right-sizing a budget is never a simple plug-and-play formula. It depends entirely on diagnosing the specific DNA and age of your home. We also have to account for the Ottawa winter factor. Upgrading your wall insulation, air sealing the space, and installing proper subfloor systems ensures the basement stays comfortable in freezing temperatures, guaranteeing it won't become a summer-only room. Delaying visual finishes to fix concrete cracks or address a faulty sump pump protects your final investment. Tackling moisture remediation first prevents mold growth and lifted flooring down the line. This quadrant chart maps out the real costs of adding specific functional zones. Adding a basement bathroom or wet bar heavily increases daily convenience, but it sits high on the budget scale because it triggers significant plumbing rough-ins, concrete trenching, and new ventilation requirements. Even creating dedicated home offices or home gyms require specialized inputs. Features like heavy rubber flooring, layered lighting zones, and sound control will increase your cost per square foot compared to simply finishing a wide-open rec room. The return on investment for a renovation is tied to the invisible infrastructure. Proper subfloors and moisture barriers ensure the room is genuinely usable on a daily basis. Looking at 2026 cost realities for Ottawa, basic open concept finishes typically range from $35,000 to $60,000. If you are designing premium custom basements or complex suites, planning ranges can climb to $180,000 and beyond. This timeline flowchart maps out the 8-step process Alba Home Services uses to take a project from concept to completion, specifically designed to eliminate hidden surprises. It starts with an initial call to align your goals, followed by a mandatory site visit to inspect hidden conditions. From there, we move into layout planning to optimize your living space while protecting access to mechanicals. Steps 4 and 5 involve providing a clear estimate based on the actual scope and navigating selections and project planning. It's important to note that any additions involving plumbing, electrical, egress windows, or creating rental suites may require permits. Homeowners should always confirm those specific requirements with the proper local authority before work begins. Finally, steps 6 through 8 cover the heavy lifting, executing the behind-the-wall rough-ins for comfort, installing drywall and finishes, and conducting a final walkthrough to ensure the space functions perfectly for your daily use. Those early cost ranges are planning numbers only. Following a strict step-by-step evaluation process is the only way to lock in an accurate price based on your home's actual hidden conditions. A successful Ottawa basement supports the daily routines of the family. While the finishes matter, the design should prioritize practical use and the specific comfort needs of the household. As we see on this checklist, there are smart places to save money. Keeping the layout open, avoiding unnecessary changes to existing plumbing, and selecting durable, luxury vinyl plank flooring can control your budget without making the space feel cheap. However, the wrong places to cut your budget are moisture control, insulation, proper framing, and electrical safety. Compromising there directly impacts your comfort and the long-term performance of the basement. If you are planning a more complex project, like a premium guest space or an in-law suite, strict adherence to safe window egress, proper HVAC integration, and fire separation must be prioritized right at the start of the planning phase. You do not have to navigate these complex layout and budget trade-offs by yourself. Alba Home Services helps Ottawa homeowners turn underused basements into warm, practical, comfortable living spaces. Contact us today or fill out our online quote form to request your free basement renovation estimate, and let's build a plan that works for your home.